5K on Saturday in Brownsville.
Where's that?
Brownsville, for the festival.
I'm coming to Brownsville Saturday night.
Are you?
All right, Don.
No, my class isn't. Oh, I got one of my tractors back out.
Okay, it's 1 o'clock. I'm going to call the June 3rd Board of Commission meeting to order. Today, we're going to start out with the prayer by Commissioner Sarkella, followed by the pledge by Commissioner Heberlin.
Dear Lord, we thank you for the day, for the sunshine that you provide for us. We'd ask that you would be with our farmers for a fruitful growing season. We're grateful, Lord, for the opportunity to gather in a free country. We ask that you would be with us during our meeting, allow us to make thoughtful and wise decisions, and all these things we ask in your Son's most precious name. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You everyone. Leslie, roll call, please.
District 1 Chairman John Black.
Present.
District 2 Commissioner Roger Ballard.
Here.
District 3 Commissioner Gary Heberly.
Present.
District 4 Commissioner Bill Sarkella.
Present.
District 5 Commissioner Christine Lee.
Present.
District 6 Commissioner Evans Ehart.
Here.
District 7 Commissioner John Moody.
Here.
Thank you, Leslie.
You're welcome.
If there are no corrections or deletions to today's agenda, I'll entertain a motion to adopt the agenda as presented.
So moved. Support.
I have a motion from Commissioner Ballard, support from Commissioner Ehart to adopt the agenda as presented. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried. Agenda is adopted. At this time, if there are no corrections or deletions, I'll entertain a motion to approve our meeting minutes for May 20th as presented.
I approve.
I'll support.
I have a motion from Commissioner Heberlin, support from Commissioner Lee to adopt our meeting minutes as presented. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, signal by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried. You would receive your correspondence from Jody and email the other day. So we're going to move into commissioner reports, and we're going to start with Commissioner Moody.
Attended Village of Melvin meeting last night. They had to amend their yearly budget due to higher costs for their park and cemetery lawn care service. They renewed their property and liability insurance. They approved a land use permit. They had some further discussion regarding a blight issue at one of the residents in town. And they have someone that's going to come in and clean their hall 3 or 4 times a year, and then they worked on their master plan. And that's it.
Okay, thank you, John. Evans?
I have nothing to report.
Okay, I don't have much. I talked to the supervisor of Marion Township, and they got the roads primed and basic stuff. That's all I have. Christine?
I was at the Village of Peck and they had a big turnout because they had 2 public hearings. One was on the Neighborhood Enhancement District. The second one was about marijuana dispensary. And they're shoot that back to the Planning Commission. So more on that. People were upset about the new water rates because they just went up 6 months ago and they're going up again. The public safety, they're looking for a grant for a ticket writing machine. Blight, same old story. Police car was out of commission for a couple of weeks. They're looking for some type of solar power to put on the meeting room to help keep costs down. And then I was at Elk Township and the library book sale they're having, and it's going to go through the weekend. And then they upgraded the 3 computers in the library. They have a Wi-Fi tracking the computer usage, how many people come in, they're going to keep track of that. They changed to summer hours for their library. The fire department is going to have a fundraiser on July 12th, a side-by-side. The run runs from noon to 5. The dinner starts at 5. And then in September, they're going to do a taco bar. And let's see. And they're going to check about swapping out some of the gravel for limestone for a couple of their roads. And that's it.
Okay, thank you, Christine. Bill?
Port Sanilac, antique boat and vintage show dates. Also the DNR project engineering agreement in regards to moving forward with the harbor improvement along with their Blues Fest and the July 5th parade date. Carsonville had a discussion on their chicken ordinance. Seems they want to open that up to poultry as well. talked about their Main Street closure and their water projects moving forward. And then Applegate, they're waiting for notification, official notification from DTE to be able to move forward with the demolition of the house there. And their work crew from the county will be going there to do some edging for their streets like they do every couple of years. And the fire chief approved information from Greg Holman, and they're very pleased with the job that Greg's doing with communication with the townships and the fire chiefs and so forth. That's all I have.
Very good. Thank you, Bill. Eric?
Thank you. I attended the city's, Sandusky City Council meeting last night. A number of things were on the agenda. One of them being, they're looking at, night lights, the approach of the city airport out here. They're getting quotes for that. Also, they've been approached to build helicopters at the airport. And, there's a company from, I believe, Argentina, that's going to be doing that. So they're working on that. New lighting going up, around town here. I reported on that, last month. And, one of the things that come up by, Councilman Hillman is they've been doing this for several weeks and months. And, you want to know if it's timeline put on it. And the city manager said they told them that it had to be done by the Sandusky days. Bathrooms were getting destroyed at Door Field. Councilman Harris, said they had to do something, because of so much damage. So, Councilman Hillman and the city manager are going to look into locks, basically the same as we have here at the county on the time locks on the doors. And then also they're looking at rehab streets to get a grant, and they'll know the selection by September 2025, and they'll find out if they are awarded the grant by October 2025, and this is for their 2026 budget. End of my report.
Okay, thank you, Gary. Bill? I'm sorry, Roger?
Thank you. I attended Evergreen Township's meeting last week, relatively short meeting. There usually are. They approved the payment of bills and heard some citizen complaints about a few sections of roads, conditions and ditches. So they were going to talk with the road commission about that. Last night I went to the City of Marlette meeting. They discussed a new meter reading system. Theirs is quickly becoming outdated. And they approved the 2025 millage rate. They passed 3 resolutions. One establishes fees and rates for city permits and services. One is to establish a pay scale for fiscal year 25-26, and one to adopt the fiscal year 25-26 budget. They heard a planning commission report and recommendation as far as the marijuana ordinance. They recommended to not pass an ordinance, and they also recommended staying with the 1,000-foot setback. They have had a citizen submit petitions, I believe, for a special election on that. I don't know if you know anything about that yet, or.
The petitions were picked up, but I'm
Okay.
not aware of the time frame.
Yeah, we don't know where that's headed yet. They called a special meeting for this Thursday at 6 o'clock to discuss their manager replacement. I believe they've got it narrowed down to 2. And heard quite a few citizen concerns regarding blight and the expense of pursuing offenders, and also the sympathetic courts. And it's a huge economic burden on the city and very little result. So that'll be ongoing. I go to Argyle Thursday night, and next Tuesday, Marlette Township at 7 and Delaware Township at 8. So hopefully I don't run into another one of our friendly deputies. That's all I have.
Thank you, Roger.
Yep.
What date are you going to Delaware?
Tuesday. We're going to discuss some park stuff we're talking about.
Okay. Appreciate everyone's commissioner reports. Nathan, your administrator report, please.
Yes, thank you. So insurance numbers have been released to employees. I am happy to say insurance costs will be going down for employees. So that was a positive. When we self-funded years ago, the goal was to hopefully be able to mitigate costs, and that you would have years where costs would not increase drastically. To get a decrease in costs was a huge win. So I was glad that that took place. Some of the things we worked with our insurance brokers to build into the plan, and participation of those services by employees has benefited the overall plan performance. So The Peck Park project, I've updated you guys on that a few times. Just so you're aware, MEDC came back, who is the fiduciary of the grants. They're saying that we're gonna need to adopt another policy. And these things happen with these grants. I found, now you need this, now you need that. So I will be bringing, it has to be done before the end of the project, and the project hasn't even started, but at some point there will be a policy that will need to be adopted just to show that this project will benefit a percentage of the population that is the mid to low income level, and that won't be a problem within this county, and it's a public park for use for everybody. So just wanted to update you guys on that. County picnic was Friday, all went very good, good weather, good turnout. That was a positive event. It was nice for everybody to, as many people as possible to get together and be able to spend some time at lunch. So Lisa McLean had a meeting at the Marlette Airport last week. Roger and Bill were both there. The event was positive. We had Leslie was there. We had a lot of our elected officials there. I think it was a good showing for Sanilac County. There was Sanilac County officials, Tuscola County, Huron, were all there, but I think we probably had the most people there of any county. So it was nice. And there was some good information shared. She was on a very limited time schedule. We had about 40 minutes, I would say, probably, when it was all said and done, but some time for some dialogue with her and some information that she can take back to her folks. So the budgeting process still going on. I've had some meetings with some of the departments I oversee, or just some officials who wanted to discuss some things within their budgets. Meetings have been very positive. So once again, things seem to be moving along in a positive direction with the 2026 budgets. The Brownfield Committee had a second project that was presented to them. The Maple Valley Estates project, there's a request to set a public hearing on that today. What they're looking to do is this undeveloped modular home site in Brown City. They're looking to actually build some homes there. There's a developer that wants to utilize those, and they're looking at 70, I think approximately 70 homes going in over there. So that'd be a boost for Brown City and the area as a whole, which needs housing, and they're looking at 3 and 4 bedroom. I think there's like almost 60, 58, maybe 3 bedroom homes. Then I think there's like 12 or so 4 bedroom homes. So be a little variety there. And the last thing, the animal control site is being prepped for construction. They're doing a lot of the prepping work on the site right now. Went down there this morning. Things are moving in a positive direction. Jeremy Bender from Bender Builders is he's hitting the ground running. So they're eager to get things moving forward on this. It's been a little bit to get to this point. As you know, some hurdles to jump through with titles and transfers of property, but we're finally there. So if you drive past, you'll see work being done down there.
I saw that today.
Did you?
It'll be exciting to see the building go up and, get that project finished. Is that everything, Nathan?
That's all.
Does anybody have any questions for Nathan?
No, I just related to Nathan and you, John, before the meeting, at the city council meeting last night. Dave is still waiting on the title to get the title to him.
Good. Very good. Thank you for your report, Nathan. We are going to move on to public comments for agenda items. Are there any public comments pertaining to the agenda today? Seeing none, we're going to move on. We're going to move into interviews. Our first interview is for the Sanilac Transportation Local Advisory Council. Is Ray Ann Kreiner here?
No.
No. Okay. We are going to move on to appointments to standing committees. And the first one is the Sanilac Transportation Local Advisory Council, a 2-year term expiring 6/1/2027. I'll entertain a motion to appoint Ray Ann Kreiner to that position.
I'll make that motion.
I have a motion from Commissioner Lee, support from Commissioner Moody to make that appointment. Is there any discussion?
She's already on that board. It's a carryover, right?
Yeah, it's just a reappointment. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signal by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried. Ray is appointed. And then moving on to County Commissioner appointments to boards. We have Commissioner Sarkella is appointing Susan Emmerich to the Council on Aging for a partial 3-year term expiring 12/31 of 2027. There's no need for 14. We have no general resolution, so we're going to move into committee reports, and we'll start with Commissioner Ballard.
This morning, bright and early, I had a CMH program committee, it's mental health, this morning. They are currently serving 352 youth, which is an all-time high for them, which just shows the demand for services down there, because that's kind of across the board. They continue to do a fantastic job. Tonight we have Parks meeting. We're meeting up at Evergreen Park, and I'm happy to say that we're getting real close to the end of that project up there. Friday morning, we're going to be doing a walkthrough with the engineer and the contractor, a couple of contractors, and to make sure everything is complete as it should be according to the grant. And if need be, we'll have a punch list of things that need to be finished up, and then I can submit for final payment on that project. It's going to look really nice. It's a great addition to our park system, and I expect we'll have probably even more campers up there, as if we can get more, much to our clerk's chagrin. Well, not so much her, but her husband. He didn't threaten me, but he told me to quit advertising our parks. So I like to hear that kind of feedback, though. We are going to meet, well, we met Friday at Delaware Park. We've got a project proposal up there to put some cabins in. Our outgoing manager, Steve Bosgay, came up with this. It's a very viable plan. It's got a very quick payback, and we feel that we can get started with this with funds that are in the budget over the next couple of years. And it would entail putting 10 cabins in, which will have cooking facilities inside and bathrooms. So looking forward to that. So in regard to that, I'll be going up with a couple of park members on the 10th to Delaware Township to present that to them and get their input. So Memorial Weekend was great. It was chilly, but parks were all full. And last Thursday, myself, Joe Ewald, the manager at Evergreen, Tom Lounsbury, who's an outdoor, somewhat of a celebrity in the thumb, and Steve Poske, the forester manager, were on the radio with Eddie Fury out at Evergreen Park from 7:30 to 10:30 in the morning. So we got a lot of exposure for that, or for the parks, as well as the main focus was a fishing tournament coming up Saturday, which is free fishing weekend in Michigan. So there's a free fishing derby out there. Starts, I believe, at 9 a.m. Open to all ages. A lot of door prizes. I think they have over 100 prizes for people to win. And I'm looking forward to getting out there and seeing what kind of a turnout they have. Tom Lounsbury is a very interesting guy. Knows a lot of the history of the Cass River. It's known as the Deadwaters, because on either end, like not too far from the park, there's a limestone shelf, and that's what helps contain water in that area, and it also slows the current. So the DNR is going to be there. They're very interested in how many species of fish there are in the river, and they'll be taking some stats on that. And so looking forward to that. And I believe that's all I have.
Okay, thank you, Roger.
Thanks.
Gary?
Yeah, thank you, Jen. On May 21st, as the rest of your commissioners voted me on the MMPC committee, went to their first meeting. And as I was a rookie on that board and the youngest guy there, I had a lot of questions, but it was very eventful, and I'm glad I'm on it. Pardon me?
Oldest guy, right?
Yeah, probably. Probably. Well, that's what I like, right? So anyway, I'm glad I'm on the committee. That pertains to 4 different counties here in Tuscola, Sanilac, and here in the county. And it was very educational. They've done a lot of work before I got onto the board, and based off our meeting back on the 21st, so there's going to be a follow-up action plans, follow up with local detail DBW that manages yard waste collection and or drop offs to check feasibility, tracking management materials, including truck counts with estimated yardage per truck, estimated in cubic inch yardage material, and on-site stockpile, another method. And from Huron County, there's going to be Rachel Thomas, Sanilac, joined by Lapeer County, Mike Miller, and Tuscola County, Mike Miller. And Call Republic, Mike's supposed to call Republic to find out where yard waste and recycling collected in some region transported, and ask about tonnage volume tracked. Again, that's Mike Miller, and he seems to have a lot of knowledge about that. As Roger already mentioned, we have a Parks Board tonight, and I'm supposed to bring the White Castle hamburgers. I forgot.
No steak.
Well, steak, okay, yeah. And my report.
Don't forget steak knives.
Yep.
Thank you, Gary. Bill?
Transportation met a couple weeks ago. We expect a couple new buses this month. It's low floor ones I've talked about in the past. And they installed a new water softener, and that'll help tremendously with the bus cleaning. Apparently, there was a lot of residue left from the water content coming through, so they're going to be able to help that circumstance. And then just quickly on Lisa McLean said on that meeting, one of the things that perked my ears was discussion on the farm bill a little bit, which should be coming this fall. So that's really something that's very pertinent to the folks in our area. That's all I have.
Good. Thank you, Bill.
If I could, real quick, in relation to Lisa McLean, I forgot to mention, Treasurer was there as well, but I think that meeting really opened her eyes to the rural area. I was kind of surprised that she wasn't more up on things as far as what's required in our areas, and yet there's no funding. In particular, emergency services, fire truck, civic. They're nowhere near wore out, but they're at the end of their certification. So they're telling them, you got to get a new truck. Well, a new truck might be $750,000 to 1.2
At least.
but there's no funding out there unless they search for grants. And same with infrastructure. City of Marlette, we're doing a project right now. Fortunately, MDOT's covering about 80% of that, I think. And but the sewage systems and water systems and whatnot, the standards they have to meet, but there's no funding unless you can get creative and find some grants. So it opened her eyes to a lot of that stuff.
I remember a couple of years ago, Lisa was at the Marlette Airport, same type of meeting, and the conversation was very similar, that a lot of the local officials were talking about how the Fed or the state will mandate something, but then not provide funding, right? You know, if you're going to tell us we can only run a fire truck for 10 years, what are you going to pay for the new one when this one's 10 years old? So yeah, that's very good. And I'm glad to hear that she was listening to what you guys had to say, and hopefully she can take it back and do something positive.
I think that's something she needs to be reminded more often.
Yeah.
Apparently.
Well, it's tough. I mean, it's a big
It is.
district, and this is the less populated part
Exactly.
of her congressional district.
Yep.
So unfortunately, that's the case, but it's the way it is. And
Yep.
it's great to hear that we had so many people from our county there to advocate for us. So appreciate you guys attending that meeting.
The other side that she was enlightened on is they're approaching the sources for emergency vehicles. I particularly see it on the transportation board with what's happened with the buses. And many, many years ago, it happened with the campers, where the conglomerates are buying up all the small businesses, and then it's just one firm is building everything. And that's what's happened with the emergency equipment along, particularly with the buses, because it's been an issue, and it's even evolved in the school buses where they get a new bus and it's worse than the one they just got rid of, because bolts are falling out. They just aren't made the way. So she's going to be approaching that or taking that back to Washington as an antitrust violation,
Right.
because they've gotten so big, yet they're so small with the quality that they're sending out. to.
And we're paying more for them.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, because they got a corner on the market as well.
Very good. That was the end of your report, Bill, correct?
Yes.
You were done. Okay. Christine?
I have nothing to report.
Okay. We had a county planning meeting 2 weeks ago. We dealt with some zoning requests for more Forester and Custer townships. That's all I have. Evans?
On report.
John?
I have no report. I have emergency management tomorrow night. And Michigan works with Roger on the 13th.
Okay. Appreciate everyone's committee reports. We're gonna move on. I see no need for unfinished business, so we're gonna move directly into new business. We're gonna start out today with FA 080-P5, approval of current claims.
Sand Lake County Board of Commissioners hereby approves the payment of current claims identified on the accounts payable report dated May 27, 2025 for the general bank account in the amount of $129,886.27.
Support.
I have a motion from Commissioner Sarcella, support from Commissioner Ehart. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, signal by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried. Moving on to FA 081-25, budget adoptions, amendments, appropriations, and transfers.
Sand Lake County Board of Commissioners hereby approves the following amendments and establishes the following accounts as listed.
Support.
I have a motion from Commissioner Sarcella, support from Commissioner Lee. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, signal by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried. Moving on to FA 082-25, award and authorization of carpet RFP for buildings and grounds.
Sand Lake County Board of Commissioners hereby awards and authorizes Flooring Edge the bid for the purpose of replacing carpet, including installation of new carpet tiles, adding coat baseboard as needed, and removal of existing carpet for District Court, Prosecutor's Office, and the County Clerk's Office at a cost not to exceed $24,705.20 with funding from Building and Grounds.
Support.
I have a motion from Commissioner Sarcella, support from Commissioner Lee. Is there any discussion?
What was the timing on that? We discussed that in our finance meeting.
I don't remember the.
Thought it was as soon as possible.
Their start date or their time to complete
Time to complete.
they were looking at between 3 to 5 days. Most.
And this is the ones that we.
And that's why we did it, right?
Yeah, they were gonna work with our schedule, right? Okay,
Yes.
very good. Any further discussion related to FA 082-25? Hearing none, all in favor, signal by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried. Moving on to FA 083-25, award and authorization of cost allocation RFP.
Sand Lake County Board of Commissioners hereby awards and authorizes MGT the bid for the purpose of providing cost allocation for the years 2025, 2026, 2027, with the option for 2028 and 2029 at a grand total not to exceed $46,999 with funding from the general fund.
Support.
I have a motion from Commissioner Sarcella, support from Commissioner Moody. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signal by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried. Moving on to FA 084-25, award and authorization of truck RFP, Parks Commission.
Sand Lake County Board of Commissioners hereby awards and authorizes More Motors of Caro the bid for the purpose of purchasing a 2025 Ford F-150 half-ton six-cylinder crew cab, 6.5 foot box, four-wheel drive with tow package, white pickup, including bedliner at a cost not to exceed $44,667.84 with funding from the Parks Millage.
Support.
I have a motion from Commissioner Sarcella, support from Commissioner Ballard. Is there any discussion? Roger, vehicle ordered at this point? When was it ordered? What was the date that it was ordered on?
Yeah, I couldn't tell you exactly. I don't know.
Did they give you a date on when it's supposed to come in?
I believe a couple months.
Okay. Any further discussion related to FA 084-25? Hearing none, all in favor, signal by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried. Moving on to NFA 013-25, authorization of a public hearing for Brownfield Redevelopment Authority.
Sand Lake County Board of Commissioners hereby authorizes scheduling a public hearing for the purpose of the Brownfield redevelopment project for the Maple Valley Estates redevelopment, Brown City, Michigan for July 1st, 2025, and directs the board secretary to publish the legal notice.
I have a motion from Commissioner Sarcella, support from Commissioner Ehart. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signal by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried. Moving on to NFA 014-25, authorization of health, dental, vision recommendation from the Board of Commissioners.
Sand Lake County Board of Commissioners hereby authorizes offering effective July 1st, 2025, 3 self-funded Cofinity health plans through Meriton Health for active employees and non-medical Medicare eligible retirees as listed.
I have a motion from Commissioner Sarcella. Is there support?
I'll support.
I have support from Commissioner Lee. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signal by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried. That's going to conclude new business. At this time, I'm going to call for general public comments. Are there any general public comments today? Welcome.
Well, I guess so. And this one would be for the minutes. Our little speech.
Okay.
Who would I give that? You? Yeah. Before I read this, I have a quick question. Is this one of the rooms where the carpet is gonna be replaced?
No,
Okay.
where the people, this carpet's almost new.
Okay.
The company we hired to replace the carpet's the same one. Yeah.
Another thing that I'd like to mention that I was really disappointed last week to hear the health department administrator say that he gave 21,000, or that they gave 21,000 COVID vaccinations in 2021. And he was very happy about that. And I hope you all know that that was right around the time that the CDC took that off of the schedule for the children to no longer have those because they're very dangerous. So we really should be praising it. So that's my opinion and many other people's opinions. Okay, my name is Kathy Spiegel and I'm a Sandlot County resident. I'm here to talk about the grassroots movement in Michigan called Axe My Tax. I'm a circulator for Axe My Tax in Sandlot County to obtain enough signatures for petitions to eliminate property taxes in Michigan. If you are not familiar with Axe My Tax, I've given you a copy of the flyer that you can reference and use to access the website. This initiative is to generate enough signatures to put property taxes on the ballot for 2026 so that the people of Michigan can decide whether we want to eliminate them or not. The reason for this initiative is to help people save their homes and to allow people to own their homes without the government owning their homes. Frankly, we the people are tired of our hard-earned money going for non-essential services that many of us do not even use and could live without, such as parks and libraries. Also, property taxes are unconstitutional. The founder of this group, Carla Wagner, has spent many hours of research and hard work starting this initiative, and I'm sure she would be happy to speak to any one of you if you would like to talk with her. Axe My Tax is already hard at work to get our petitions signed. We are asking everyone to vote no on millages across the state, as well to force cities, townships, and counties to start using our money more wisely and appropriately. I hope that this resonates for some of you or all of you, and that you think about whose money you are spending and what these property taxes are doing to people. It is terrible that someone that has owned their home for 30 or 40 years can lose it just because they can't pay the property taxes. If this has happened to someone you know, then, or loved ones, that you would see it differently, and I certainly have. And that's why I'm a part of this movement. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Is there any further public comment today? Here, welcome.
How are you commissioners doing today?
Another day in paradise.
Great to see you guys again. Just wanted to give you an update from MSU Extension on the animal egg side of things. Some of the work that I've been involved in, some of the work that we're doing here in the Thumb. As you guys probably remember, I do a winter series of meetings for our cattle feeders. We hold them at Biagio, so producers can come in person and interact with each other. We bring in sponsors. Typically do a meal and some kind of educational content. This year we did 3 months, totaling 70 attendees. 25% of those are from this county, maybe no surprise. 75% from the Thumb. We do, I also make it available on Zoom, so if other cattle feeders or beef producers across the state are interested in attending, they can sign in or log in for that content as well. Some other stuff, along with some of my colleagues over here on the crop side, we also put on Thumb Egg Day. So that was another opportunity to interact with our cattle feeders. I gave a presentation on some of the marketing contracts through JBS that a lot of our producers use, some of the updates. So they're pretty thankful of that. Some other work I think just bears mentioning, because I can't quite remember the last time I got to speak with you guys, but we held E-rail training, so that's emergency response for accidents involving livestock training in Lapeer County at Imlay City Fairgrounds. So we had first responders come out for that, did training that way, and we actually were able to supply them with a response trailer later in the fall. I think it was probably around the time of October. It was already starting to get a little chilly that day. So train them, familiarize them with the equipment that's in the trailer so that they can take that out on scene and be able to utilize it as they need. So we're continuing to work with those groups as well to continue to offer training. I think upcoming, we have a training for scheduled in Frankenmuth at the Saginaw Valley Research Center there to do some euthanasia training for our first responders, because we have a lot of new trailers that we've placed across the state. So another opportunity to get that group out there and train them to meet the needs. So I think I'll cut it off there. That's Animal Lakeside. You guys have any questions for me?
Are you seeing an increase in either the number or the size of the beef farms in the thumb? Now the summer's here, I'm getting out on my bike more and I tend to stick to secondary roads. It just seems like I'm seeing a lot more beef cattle out and about.
That's probably because they turn them out to pasture.
Well, I'm not on my bike around there in the winter either.
Yeah, it's hard to say. Overall, the general trend is that we've seen declining numbers. The markets are at the highest that they've ever been in history. So as you can expect, as there's lower cattle numbers, there's demand for beef, and that drives a lot of our price. We continue to see, or at least I field quite a few beginner farmer calls. People are interested in starting to raise beef cattle. What can I do? You know, we go through those general questions. So could be some of those. I know ground's expensive for cow-calf producers in this area, so you don't see a lot of those unless they have some kind of confinement operation to kind of manage those cattle. So
I was just curious.
I can't say that I've seen a big shift in the trend one way or the other.
Jerry, do you feel that the opportunities that you offer the farmers in our county are being utilized by them? They're coming out, seeing the trainings and getting the experience and the usage out of what you provide, right?
Yeah, a large number of them. Certainly, there's always people that don't come out there. And I meet new people all the time and say, oh, I didn't know you were there. I say, well, talk to your neighbors a little bit more, because I get some of the regulars all the time. And like I said, I meet new people all the time. And now that I've been a little bit more established in this role, it seems like the attendance has gotten better over the last couple of years, which is great to see. So people keep coming back and they keep saying that they're appreciative of the content. So keep supplying to them.
And you've been doing this how long?
I started in the fall of 2020, so almost 5
Yeah,
years.
so you've been at it for about 5 years. You've been building the program, getting more participation.
Exactly. Kind of getting to know people and develop things.
Yeah, very good. We appreciate you giving us some comments.
Having it at Biagio's probably doesn't hurt.
No, it doesn't. People appreciate the food. They have good food over there. So,
Thank you, Jared.
yeah, thank you guys.
Thanks. Thank you.
Is there any further public comment today?
Hi, everyone. I'm Jenna Thaler. I'm the field crops educator. His counterpart on the other side there. I cover a few counties, but that includes Sanilac. I wanted to take this opportunity to show you we are bringing people in. This is Kimberly. Go ahead and give a little.
I'm Kimberly Abrego. I just finished my sophomore year at MSU. I'm a major in crop and soil science, and I am Jenna's intern for the summer.
Yeah, so we have a number of plots and research going on across Sanilac County in addition to meetings and trainings that we're doing. Kimberly's from Peck originally, and so she's up here helping with a number of the plots and research and different learning opportunities we have going on. But I just want to take the chance to introduce her. We have 6 soybean plots out this year in Sanilac County, which is down slightly from last year. Just a couple plots didn't make it in with the weird weather, if you're familiar with planting. And other than that, we have a soybean variety trial and a wheat variety trial in Sanilac County as well. That will have some work going on, but that's all I have because Phil's gonna come up and he will give you the whole spiel because he loves public talking.
Called you all.
I guess that's me.
Oh, you're needed, see? Hey,
Good afternoon, commissioners. It's a pleasure to be here. My name is Phil Cates, and I'm an extension educator based now in Huron County. I moved last October in anticipation of a retirement in August. So looking forward to spending a little bit more time on water. So it should be fun. Anyway, I thought I'd give you a short report about some of the programming that I've done during the last year, as well as some of the things that are upcoming. I think one of the biggest things that I've seen is that
there is great participation in Sanilac County for our programs. I think that's something that really is one of the key things to our programming efforts, in that we have a broad and wide reach as far as farmers and agribusiness people across all the counties of the thumb. But I think Sanilac County has really proven that they support our programs. I'm going to start with the virtual breakfast series. This is something that occurs every Thursday morning during the growing season. I'm going to give you a brief history of what happened a year ago, because we're right in the thick of things as far as the virtual breakfast for this year. So I don't really have all the numbers that I have from last year. As an example, there were 5,465 live participants during the season. We had over 5,400 YouTube video watches of everything that's recorded. There were over 7,300 page views on our MSU Extension webpage. 1,493 podcast watches. And over 2,600 live Facebook participants during the course of the season. That's for the program is there. And it's one of those things where, as I look at Sanilac County, we had the highest number of participants from Sanilac, number one in all across the state, with 392 people that participated in the live. I don't have anything as far as the YouTube or the extension page views or the podcast. Those are all anonymous. But in addition, we had Huron County, Lapeer County, Tuscola, in St. Clair. So really a total of the D10, which is what Carly Crager covers, they form nearly 20% of our participants. And we have farms that cover multiple counties. So it's not surprising that they're involved. So far this year, we're averaging 243 people a week, which is up probably another 30 people per week compared to what we had a year ago. And so I think it's indicative of the quality of the information that's being presented. And it's quick, to the point, and it's something that's based on what's happening in the field today. So this week, we're going to talk about fungicides in wheat and the timing of applying those fungicide applications to protect yield and quality of a major crop here in Sanilac County. So what does that mean? Just numbers doesn't tell the picture. Give you an idea, 1.8 million acres of land was participated. This is based on an evaluation that I did at the end of the season. We had roughly 49% that actually participated in the evaluation of those that were there during the course of the year. 99% increased knowledge, 37% said they made a management change a year ago, and another 42% anticipated another additional change to management based on the information given. The total value of increased management, over $4.4 million, that's a big benefit for our farmers across the state of Michigan. So I just think that that's an indication of the quality of the programming that's being done. There are other things, Jenna didn't really go into detail, but we have a grain bin and manure pit safety training that's coming up in June here. It's going to be in Fair Grove. It's really for a combination of farmers and for first responders to both have an opportunity to go and see what or how they can have a rescue. But many times it's just a recovery out of a grain bin, which is unfortunate. We have RUP training that we conduct in the county, and our farmers that use and apply restricted use pesticides, they have to be certified by the state of Michigan. We provide the training for them to receive the certification, and they take a test. And we average nearly 85% as far as those that pass the test across the state of Michigan. We had a crop and pest management meeting in Peck, and that was well attended. And like Jenna said, we have soybean, wheat. I had a corn tar spot, corn silage trial a year ago, looking at the benefits of applying a fungicide to control that disease in corn. And on Saturday, I completed the first cutting for my haylage trial that looks at different things for forages. So
that's just a cross section of the things that I do, and I think it's indicative of all the educators. We don't do just one thing, it's multiple things. So thank you for your time. Any questions at all? I try and be thorough and long, sorry.
No, thank you.
You're fine. Thank you. Thank you.
Any further public comment today? Seeing none? We're gonna move on. I see no need for closed session or approval of closed session minutes. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn our BOC meeting at 1:45.
I'll make that motion.
Support. Motion and support. All in favor, signal by saying aye.
Aye. We are adjourned.
You want me? Yeah, there's actually.
Thanks. No track meet you gotta run to today.
No?